Hello my dears. So next we are going to discuss a very important session in power system, and probably most of the students, those who are preparing for competitive examination, will skip this topic. Is it correct? Please comment your answer. Is it correct or right, or I mean wrong? Definitely right. You will skip this session per unit, array per unit. No, I can't tolerate this and I will skip this, and remaining everything I will cover, but except this per unit system and unsymmetrical fault calculation and all. This will be definitely a skippable topic in power system engineering. Okay, power system analysis. So let's try to understand this, my dear. Let's try to understand this, and after the class you can comment whether you can easily handle this per unit system or not. You can comment. So what is mean by per unit system, my dear? What is mean by per unit system? So literally, my dears, literally per unit system means okay, express one term with respect to other term. That's all, my dear. Other term. That is the meaning of per unit system. That's all. You have to express one quantity. Let's suppose that you have to express x in terms of y. That is called the per unit system. That is called the per unit system, PU. Simple. Okay. So per unit system means you have to express x in terms of y. Simple. This y is called the base value, my dears. Base value. This x is called the actual value. Actual value. This y is called the base value and x is called the actual value. Suppose you have to express 15 in terms of 100. Then this will be the per unit system. This will be the per unit value. The per unit value will be 0.15. That's all. PU 0.15 per unit. 0.15 per unit. Okay. So next, what is the importance of per unit system in our power system? What is the importance of per unit system in our power system, ideas? So in the previous lectures now, you saw the equivalent, representation of a transmission, distribution system. Like a substation will be there, a transformer will be there, a transmission line will be there, another transformer will be there, and so many loads will be there. So many loads will be there. This having certain rating in MVA or KVA. This transformer also having certain rating. This transformer also having certain rating. This transmission line also having some R and GX. These loads also very different rating. Loads having very different rating. So this distribution system now, this is enormous amount of lakhs of such distribution systems are there in the entire power system. It contains lakhs of transformer, my dears. It contains so many substations. It contains lot of lakhs of loads. So for the analysis purpose of the transmission line, analysis purpose means nothing, my dear. Analysis means what? We have to calculate I, we have to calculate impedance, we have to calculate power, that is the apparent power, we have to calculate V. That is simply the analysis. And the phase angle in between voltage and current, that's all. Active power, reactive power, voltage, current, and the impedance. That is meant by the analysis, and the phase angle between those quantities. That is called the analysis. Okay. So for the analysis of the complete transmission line, my dears, it's very difficult because it contains in MVA rating. This may not be, it may be in ohm. The transformer will be in transformation ratio T1, T2, step up or step down transformation. It is in N1 by or voltage rating. It may be in these loads may be in impedance format ZL1, ZL2, ZL3, etc. So for the analysis of transmission line, if it is like this means it's a difficult task. So what we are going to do, we have to convert it into per unit system, my dear. Per unit system. And that per unit system simply consists of the source. This is called the source or generator. Source or generator. So there will be a source or generator, it having a certain voltage. There will be a transmission line with having R and Jx value, and it having a load. Which diagram is simple, my dear? Which diagram is simple? Of course this one is simple. And this diagram is nothing but all will be in per unit. So the per unit system will be nothing but, my dear, you have to convert the entire power system into a source, a transmission line equivalent, a load equivalent, that's all. That is called the per unit in power system. Okay, so this is just an overview, my dear. When we are dealing a problem, when we are solving a problem, these things will be very much clear to you. Okay, these things will be very much clear to you. And see, suppose a power system contain 1000 watt, 500 watt and 300 watt. Okay, if this is the line, total power system, suppose we have to convert it into per unit system, means it will not be like that. The structure will be same, the structure will be straight, the value will be, my dear, the value will be smaller, say 0.15, 0.2 and 0.3, etc. in per unit system. So the another advantage of per unit system is that, first advantage is nothing but, my dear, we can convert a very complex power system network into a simplified network, so that we can reduce the calculation time, we can reduce the complexity, and we don't want to go for other power system analysis technique. You might have studied, right? Newton-Raphson method, Gauss-Seidel method, fast decoupled method. Did you study that? Okay, so these or impedance, Z impedance, impedance matrix, Z matrix method, everything you study, right? You might remember that calculation for Newton-Raphson method or Gauss-Seidel method, at least you need 3 pages or 4 pages in order to complete all iterations. So that problems you can easily managed by, or you can easily removed with this per unit system, and you can done your calculation by simply manual, in our manual hands you can done our calculation. But for that you may need a very long calculation process. Each iteration you will be, your head will be at the exploding point, your head will be at that time, because S7 power system analysis you study, right? That method, my God, it's very tedious calculation. It's very tedious calculation. So that you can avoid here by using a per unit system. And next one, the quantities which are dealing in per unit system ideas, it's very small 0.3, 0.15. So the addition, subtraction or calculation among these small quantities, it's very easy. It's not like 100 MVA, 200 MVA, 500 MVA, 3000 kV, 500 kilowatt or 10,000 kV, not like that. It is simple in point form. So it is easily, you can calculate everything. Easily. So that is another advantages of that per unit system. Okay, is it clear, my dears? Is it clear? Okay, so in power system, this per unit system I already explained. It is nothing but actual value divided by base value. Actual value divided by base value, my dear. So in power system, four important parameters are you have to always keep in mind. Always keep in mind. First one, four important parameters are nothing but, my dear. First one I, second one Z, third one V, fourth one S. S is the apparent power. S is the apparent power. Okay. Among these 1, 2, 3, 4 quantities, any two quantity will be given in the question itself, and that you can take as the base or reference value. Normally this V and S, this V, that is voltage, and the power rating of the alternator or generator will be taken as the base value. That will be given in the question. Which quantity you should take as the reference value, that will be given in the question. So for computing the per unit system, you require at least two base quantities. That you have to remember all the time. For computing the per unit system, you require at least two base quantities. Either I, either Z, or either ZV or VS or anything. Normally this is the convention that V and S will be the base value. Base value. V and S will be the base value. Okay, my dears. So I am going to do a problem. Okay, that's actually a bit longer problem, but after doing that problem, your concept of per unit system will be modified. You will get a trigger. Okay, and I will, after that I will give you a shortcut. Only that single formula will be asked for any competitive examination, but you have to know the concept now. Unless before you mug up the formula, at least you have a knowledge that, oh, that formula came from here, that formula is actually derived from that point. Now you have to know that. That's why I'm taking all this. Okay, so let's do a simple problem so that you can easily know how can we apply this concept per unit system. Okay, how can we apply this concept per unit system? Okay, my dears, write a question, my dear. Write a question. And one more thing, my dears, one more thing. See, so I mentioned the four parameters now: I, Z, V and S. Everything having a per unit value also. So I per unit is nothing but, my dear, I actual quantity or actual divided by I base. And Z per unit is nothing but, my dear, Z actual divided by Z base. And V per unit is nothing but, my dear, V actual divided by V base. And S per unit is nothing but, my dear, S actual by S base. So you can note one thing, my dear. In per unit quantity representation, both the numerator and denominator having same unit. I, ZZ, PV and SS. So the per unit system, you can say that it is a dimensionless quantity. Dimensionless quantity. So per unit quantities are dimensionless. So that also you have to know. Okay, let's move to a problem. Ideas. Actually, if time permits, we will do so many problems, my dear, because per unit system is slightly difficult, but it's easily manageable. Okay, base value chosen to be 480 volt and 10 kVA at the generator. So the question is A, find the base voltage comma base current comma base impedance comma base apparent power at every point in the power system, and the part B is convert the system into its per unit equivalent circuit. It's a very good question actually, my dear, very good question. Okay, it's a very good question actually. Did you notice this? Did you notice this? Okay, you can take this, and after that I will rub this. Okay, so first we have to find the, see, this is a system, my dear. A generator station will be there, a step up transformer will be there, there will be T1, and another step down transformer will be there, because it's a generation side, it is a transmission side, and it is a load side. So from generation to transmission you have to step up the voltage. That's why 1:10 ratio transformer is used. 10 times voltage will be step up here. And it's a transmission line parameter is equivalent 20 ohm plus J60 ohm, means it is the equivalent of the transmission line, R plus Jx form, right? That is the equivalent of transmission. That is the Z line, impedance of the transmission line. And after that you have to distribute it to the consumer now. So you have to step down the voltage. That's why the turns ratio is 20:1, step down in the voltage, right? And after that you have to distribute to the load. After that you have to distribute to the load. So normally every power system, my dear, can be categorized into 3 regions. Region 1 is the generation, region 2 is the transmission, and region 3 is the distribution. This is actually a simple network. So in many, you might have seen or you solved many questions in very complex manner by using this per unit system. I know that. So this is a very simple line actually. So if you know the basic here clearly, you can extend this knowledge to any different complex circuit. Okay, so that's all. So first step is nothing but we have to convert, or we have to find the base quantities at each regions. Base quantities at each, that is the first step. After that you have to find the per unit value and you have to convert it into a per unit equivalent circuit. Okay, so I'm removing this one. Hope you noted this. Okay. 480 volt and 480 volt now. So let us take region 1. Region 1. So it's given that, my dear, for anything, suppose you have to calculate for the per unit system, you have to go for the per unit analysis. You required 4 parameters, my dear: Z, I, S and V. Okay, Z, I, S and V, and out of this 2 will be taken as the base value. Okay, so it's given in the question that V base will be taken like, or let me V1 base. Okay, generator side na, it is in region 1 na, this is in generator side na, this is in region 1, so I can say like V1 base. V1 base is nothing but, my dear, 480 volt. It is given, correct? 480 na? Yes, 480 volt. And S1 base is also given, correct na? X1, you have to take S1 base as 10 kVA. 10 kVA, correct? 10 kVA, yes. So you have this already in the question itself, it's given. So what you have to do? You have to calculate the what, my dear? Impedance, right? Impedance for the region 1. The remaining quantity will be what? Z base you have to calculate and I base you have to calculate. Z base you have to calculate, my dear, and I base you have to calculate. Okay, is it clear? So how can we calculate this remaining 2 parameters? So I have already told you we required 4 parameters for every region. For region 1 we required I base, Z base, S base, V base. For region 2 we required I base, Z base, S base and V base. For region 3 also. So every region required these 4 parameters. So how can we do this, my dear? How can we do this? See, for region 1, how can we calculate Z base if you know V base and S base? How can we do this? How can we do this? So Z base is nothing but, my dear, power P is equal to V square by Z. Basic equation, power P is equal to V square by Z, or Z is nothing but V square by P, correct now? So the basic equation you can apply here also. Basic equation here apply V square by power. So Z base is nothing but V square means 10 kVA square divided by what? Power P is equal to V square by Z na? Sorry. V square by Z na? So V square is nothing but what? 480 volt. So 480 square divided by this much, 10 kVA. So 480 into 480 divided by 10,000, we give the value of Z base, which is nothing but, my dear, 23.04. So this is nothing but the Z base. So V base you have already in the question, S base is already in the question. You have to calculate I base and Z base. Okay, so Z base is nothing but power P is equal to V square by Z na. So Z will be V square by S na. So V square 480 square divided by S. S in 10 kVA, so 10,000. If you solve this, you will get to the 23.04. And we have to calculate this I base also, correct? So what will be I base now? What will be I base? If you have Z base, if you have V base, then I base will be V base divided by Z base, simple. I is equal to V by R now. I is equal to V by Z, correct? So V base is nothing but 480 Z base is nothing but 23.04. If you solve this, you will get I base will be equal to 20.83. So for region 1, you calculated every parameters. For that 4 parameter you got for region. Keep there, that's all. And next we have to do for region 2. So for every region you have to calculate the base quantities. Then only you can convert to per unit quantity. So next we have to do for region 2. Region 2. Region 2. So region 2 also having Z base, V base, S base and I base, right? This region also having the same, right? And you remember one thing, my dear, even though we are using transformers here, the total power you transmitted from here will be reached there also. It will not change. It will not change. That means the power will be same for every session. Every region the power is same. Even if you are using so many transformer, is there any change in power? No. The voltage may be step up or step down, the current may be step up or step down, but the total power will be same. That means for region 2 also, the S2 base is nothing but, my dear, 10 kVA. There is no change in that. But V2 base is changing. What will be V2 base? Because we are using a step up transformer having turns ratio 1:10. So what will be the secondary voltage now? What will be the secondary voltage? The basic equation now, the basic equation we have what? V secondary by V primary equal to N secondary divided by N primary, or which is nothing but 10 by 1. 10 by 1. So from this, V secondary will be equal to V primary into 10. Correct now? What is the V primary, my dear? 480 volt. It's given the primary voltage is 480 volt. This side is 480 volt. So 480 volt into 10. So it's nothing but 4800 volt. So the V2 base is nothing but, my dear, 4800 volt. Is it clear? Is it clear? So the voltage will be changed here, right? The voltage will be changed here. Next, what will be? So you got S, you got V2, and what will be? What will be? I2. I2 base. What will be I2 base? What will be I2 base? Before that, you can calculate for. Before that, you can calculate for okay. See, my dear, a basic equation, power S will be equal to V into I, correct na? Power S is equal to what? V into I. So I will be nothing but S by V. So you have S2 base divided by you have V2 base, simple. So you can go for this I2 base. I2 base will be equal to 10 kVA divided by V2 base is nothing but 4800. So if you solve this, you will get I2 base as 2.08 ampere. So this is the I2 base. And next you have to see for Z2 base. Next you have to see for Z2 base, my dear. So Z2 base is nothing but what? If you have V2 base and I2 base, simply you can calculate Z2 base. So V2 base divided by I2 base is nothing but Z2 base. V2 base you already have. What is that V2 base? 4800 and I2 base 3.08. So Z2 base will be equal to what, my dear? 2304, correct now? 2304 ohm. So now you have all the parameters in the region 2. Okay. Arey sir, are you what, blind? You are not seeing this 20, J60, you are not seeing that? You may ask. Yes, I am seeing that. I will tell you later where that 20 and J16 can be utilized. I will tell you later. Okay. Please be patient. Please be patient. So in region 2 you got 4 parameter. What? Base, S2 base, V2 base, I2 base and Z2 base. 4 parameter you got. Next, region 3. Region 3. Region 3. So what about region 3, my dear? What about region 3? Here also you have to calculate what? S3 base. I already told you the base power will not be changed. So it will be 10 kV itself, no change that. And V3 base, let's go talk about V3 base. What will be V3 base, my dear? What will be V3? Here the voltage is 4800 volt. Here the voltage is 480 only. But what will be the voltage here? What will be the voltage here? It will be divided by 20, right? So 4800 by 1 by 20. So it will be 240 volt. Correct now? Am I correct? Because it's stepped down here. The voltage is stepped down by 1 by 20 factor. That's a 20:1 transformation ratio means the output voltage will be reduced by a factor of 1 by 20. So that's why V3 base will be what? This much. Again, what will be I3 base now? I3 base now, power P is equal to VA, simple formula. So I is equal to what? S3 base divided by V3 base. Correct, my dear? So S3 base is given 10 kVA. It is given 240. So what will be I3 base? What will be I3 base? 1000 divided by 24, it is nothing but, my dear, 41. Correct now? 1000 divided by 24, what? 24 into nearly 4, correct. 25 into 5 times 100 now. So 24 into 1000 will be what? Yeah, 20. Yeah, of course. 25 into 4 times now, 1000 by 100, so it will be 41. So 41.6 what? Ampere. So now you got the value of I3 base. So you got S, you have V, you have I, and next you have Z3 base. How can we calculate Z3 base? Simply V3 base by I3 base, my dear. Okay, so it will be what? V3 base by I3 base means V3 base is 240, I3 base is what, my dear? Is 41.6. So the answer will be 5. Okay, correct. 5.76 ohm. So our question number 1, that is the session part A, will be fully answered. You calculate the base value for every region, region 1, region 2 and region 3, etc. Now we can go for the per unit value. Now you can go for the per unit value. Is it clear, my dear? Okay, now we will go for the per unit value. When you are seeing this video for first time, my dear, it may be little confusing, but never, don't skip this. You revise this video for 2-3 times. You get a trigger, you get an idea. Okay, next step, question B is what? Per unit. calculation. Per unit calculation. Okay, my dear. So I already told you that for region 1 is nothing but the generation side. So generation side, it only contain a generator with a voltage source, correct? Na? Voltage source. So the per unit calculation for this region 1 will be, you can calculate for per unit for every region. Okay, region 1. So region 1 will be, see, per unit voltage will be equal to actual value of voltage divided by base value of voltage, correct, my dear? Per unit quantity is nothing but actual by base quantity. Actual base is nothing but what? They are mentioning 480 should be taken as the base. Actual is nothing but 480, it's given in the question. So 480. They are taken, this should be taken as the base, but in the question diagram, it is 480. So 480 by 480, 1 per unit. Is it clear? So from the region 1, we just need that only. We just need that only from region 1, because in the single line diagram, I mean the equivalent per unit diagram, I simply represent a voltage source, a transmission line, a load. So this is for region 1, this is for region 2, and this is for region 3. So region 1 only required a voltage source. So you got voltage per unit as 1 per unit, that's all. That's all. Okay? Is it clear? Okay, next one, region 2. Region 2. Region 2. Region 2 is consist of a resistor plus an inductor combination. That Z is there, right? So, what will be Z per unit there? Z per unit, that means we required a Z line, we required a Z there. We required a voltage there, we calculate a voltage per unit. In the region 2, we required what, my dear? A Z. A Z only we require, right? So Z per unit means what? Z actual divided by Z base. Z actual divided by Z base. So Z actual is given in the diagram. So for getting actual value, you go or you look at the diagram. The only Z in the diagram is Z line. It is given 20 plus J 60 divided by. What is the Z base, my dear? We already calculated, right? Z base. What is the Z base or Z2 base? Na? Correct me, Z2 base. Z2 base and a second region. Na? So Z2 base we already calculated, right? 2304. Am I right? 2304. So the answer will be, you got this much per unit. This much per unit. So that is the region 2. So from region 2, we just need what, my dear? Only we need what? A impedance of the transmission line. For the load side or region 3, we require what? Again another impedance. Okay, we will do that. We will do that for region 3. We will do that for region 3. Okay, I will get region 3. So for region 3, what are the parameters we require? Again, an impedance we require. Right? So I can say like Z3 per unit, which is nothing but, my dear, Z3 actual divided by Z3 base. Here you can represent like ZTU per unit. Okay, ZTU actual divided by ZTU base. So Z3 actual divided by Z3 base. Z3 actual means whenever you need actual, you look at the diagram. Actual 10 angle 30. And never look at these transformers and all, my dears, because that doesn't contain any Z. Z means focus on only Z, Z, Z. V means focus on only V, V, V. Is it clear? Is it clear? That's the methodology. So 10 angle 30 divided by Z3 base. What is the Z3 base we calculated? What was Z3 base? Z3 base, not Z2 base, my dear. This is Z2 base. We calculate the region 3 base also. That is nothing but 5.76. So the answer will be 1.73 angle 30 per unit. Per unit. Is it clear? Is it clear, my dears? So what will be our equivalent circuit? 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 What was our equivalent circuit? I already told you. It contains a generation station, that is V of 1 per unit, and it contains a transmission line. It contains a load. That's all. The transmission line is nothing but, what was the per unit of region 2? What was the per unit of region 2, my dear? 0.0087, and this is nothing but 0.026. So this is also in per unit. This is also in per unit. This is R plus Jx of a, next for this one, 1.73 angle 30 for load side. It's also in per unit. Simple, that's all. So this is the per unit diagram. See, this network can be completely removed by or expressed with equivalent of this. Is there is any transformers? See the beauty of the transformation. Is there any transformers? No. The transformers can be completely eliminated in what? Single line diagram, my dear. I mean the per unit representation. There is no transformers and all. See the simplicity of the circuit. Is this is simple or this diagram is simple? This is simple. You can simply calculate the short circuit current or any fault analysis or everything you can done with this. Everything you can done with this. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. And in competitive examination, a famous question and a famous equation I will tell you. Okay, that's nothing but, my dear, set pu new equal to set pu old into MVA new divided by MVA old into KVB or KV, simply KV old by KV new the whole square. This very famous equation, very famous equation. Set pu new equal to set pu old into MVA new divided by NVA old divided by KV old divided by KV new the whole square. I have a trick to remember this, my dear. You can see the beauty. New old. The numerator will be like this, and always the voltage contain what? A square term. That's why. So this is very important equation. You can solve any problem by using this equation. Okay, we will do a small problem so that you can easily find out how can we do this by using the equation. Okay, write a problem like this. Write a problem. A famous question I will explain. Okay, a famous question I will explain. Write a famous question. Write a famous question. An alternator has writing. Very important problem. Has rating 250 MVA comma 5 kilovolt and per unit impedance equal to 2%. Find per unit impedance for 500 MVA 10 kilowatt. This is a very popular question. Never skip this question, my dear. You can simply substitute and you will get the answer. That's the beauty of this question. That means for certain rating of alternator 250 and it is a S base and V base, you have a per unit impedance of this much. And what will be the per unit impedance for this parameters? 500. That means the S will be doubled and V will be doubled. Then what will be the per unit impedance then? This is a very popular question, my dear. Most of the competitive examination cover this question. I mean from this session, per unit system, this question is a short question. Very important question. Very important question. Okay, never skip this. So how can we do? Simply by using this formula you can do this. So we have to calculate the new per unit impedance now. So ZPU new. I will write this equation once again, my dear. ZPU new equal to array mosquito ZPU old into MVA new divided by MVA old into KV old whole square. So how can we do this? ZPU old is nothing but per unit impedance of 2% means you have to convert into value now, because per unit always contains smaller, less than 1 quantities, correct? Less than 1 its value. So it will be 0.02. 2% means 0.02. Correct? Into MVA new by MVA. MVA new is what? 500. What was MVA old? 250. Into what is KV old? 5. What is kilovolt new? 10 square. That's 0.02 into 250 into 5. That is nothing but 2 into 5 by 10. 1 by 4. So it will be 0.01 ohm. Simple. So no unit, per unit is not unit. 0.01 PU. 0.01 PU. Or simply in percentage you can say, or 10%. Sorry, 1%. 0.01 means 1%. That will be the answer. It's a very important question, my dear, from the per unit system. So the concept of per unit now, that actually I explained by that long problem. You got the idea of what is happening there. Okay, that you got from that problem. And for competitive examination or for our equation wise in competitive examination, this is very important. That also you have to note down. Suppose for our unluck, if certain small distribution system or generator plus transmission is given, and find out the per unit system means we will not be confused or we will not get the answer right now. So that's why I explained that problem. So keep a deep look on that problem, okay, and we will do more problems when we are solving previous year question paper after the completion of the syllabus. There you can do very important problems regarding, not very important, no, it is an important problem, very twisted questions, okay, possible questions regarding this per unit system. So thank you so much.